We're a not-for-profit set up in 2020, and we operate the Lough Ree Access for All boat service, and indeed some other additional services in recent times, thanks to the support of Just Transition Fund. I suppose many people looking in on the webinar this morning will know us best from the National Lottery TV ad, when my colleague Dorothy Coyle, one of our directors, shows how to roll on and roll off independently as a wheelchair user on our access boat. We were the winner of the National Good Cause Award with that initially. So you know our service, that was our initial service. But that very, very much was our starting point. We're a project that was set up in 2015, initially looking at tourism in our hometown of Lanesborough. We're neighbours of Peter and the gang at Lough Ree Distillery, and we're natives of the area as well. So we've seen the progress of Bordnamona, and like the rest of the country, we saw the way the lifetime of the power station and Bordnamona was coming to an end. It ended a bit quicker than we would have wished in terms of a just transition, but that's another story. I suppose to set a scene for you, I'm going to hand you over in a little video to a colleague of mine. Nowadays, Lough Ree Access for All operates 3 boats. We have a new National Accessibility Centre at Ballyleague and on the Roscommon shore of Lough Ree of the River Shannon. And one of my colleagues there is Harry, and Harry's prepared a little video just to give an outline, I suppose, to where we are, who we are, and where we've come from. So if you could play that video now, you'll get some more details.
It was a newspaper advertisement like this that brought people from all over the country to come to live and to work in Bordnamona here in Ballyleague and Lanesborough in the 1950s and 60s. The ad offered a new beginning and a working wage for hundreds of men and women, and when they arrived, they lived here, initially in the billets and the new residential camps set up at Clontuskert. For the next 6 decades, they harvested the peat and the turf from these bogs to help to meet the energy demands of a nation. They worked hard, they set up new families here and settled down in the Bordnamona estates. And the money they earned helped to educate their children and build a new community. Everyone who worked for Bordnamona knew that the time would come when the argument in favour of reducing carbon emissions on this earth would outweigh the economic benefits of burning turf and peat. But they were promised a period of just transition to help adapt and to make that change. That transition was supposed to mean a gradual reduction of peat burning at this power station and a move to using biomass over a 10-year period. But legal moves reduced that transition period from 10 years to 10 months, and hundreds of local workers were presented with the option of taking early redundancy. Some of those leaving were approaching retirement age, but many were still in their 40s and 50s, and that's where the new Lough Ree Access for All community project came in. A plan was prepared by the community to build a new National Waterways Recreational Centre at the quayside in Ballyleague and help re-employ those leaving the bog in the outdoor recreational tourism business. With the help of Roscommon County Council and Leader, a community tourism business was set up and huge investment put in the area's finest natural resource, fishing on Lough Ree, that is today attracting more than 10,000 visitors per year to the community for festivals and events and helping to create jobs both directly and indirectly. The project has been supported by the government's Just Transition Fund, Inland Fisheries Ireland and private industry, and the future is bright. Rural tourism is the future for our community. Ballyleague is proud of its place and its past, but it looks ahead now with optimism and a new hope as we rewrite its future, a future we can all look forward to.
So that's Harry's presentation. Harry is one of 8 employees at Lough Ree Access for All today. Our manager is Liam Grimes, and we're supported by Pobble through the Community Services Programme, and we're supported by the Just Transition Fund. I'm pleased to say the largest aspect of that project was the development of the new accessibility centre. It's a visitor centre, really. It was completed in recent months, and An Taoiseach Leo Varadkar will officially open the building tomorrow morning at 11:30. So we're not quite finished with the Just Transition Fund. We have a second eco boat to purchase, which we're in the process of doing. And I suppose next year we'll stand on our own 2 feet and continue to extend. However, I'd say from our perspective, we're like a lot of people listening in on the webinar this morning. There are lots of people in our community who still have ideas and still have suggestions as to where we should go next. We welcome very much this initiative, the Emerge project, as an opportunity to provide mentoring and training for people in the community. In many respects, we had to take this on, but we got the support of Roscommon Leader Partnership, Rethink Ireland, the Community Foundation, all the agencies over the course of the last 5 years. But there are many individuals in our community who are interested in developing projects in tourism, in childcare, and in other areas. And I think if they're online today, I hope this is their opportunity to get involved in the future. We have lots of plans for the development of this project as we go forward, and we look forward to working with this new Emerge program, because we know there will be different streams and different angles in our project coming down the line. I'd say one thing in conclusion, sometimes when we show that video, people say to us that it's the glass is half full, and that, you know, it's been a tougher time than people with deafs and middles. We know it's been a tougher time. We wished there was a greater period for transition, but I think the reality in our group and our 5 directors and the people who run our organization now is that we are where we are now. We must embrace the just transition process as set out in the territorial plan going forward now, and we intend to do that 100% and create more jobs like Peter and the gang in Lanesborough and Ballyleague going forward. Whether you're a commercial PLC or whether you're a social enterprise, to take part in the first round of Just Transition, you had to come up with the matching funding. And in our case, being a social enterprise, we were granted by JTF to the tune of 80% of the project, which was almost €500,000. It's a matter of record. It's on the Department of Energy website and Communications and Climate websites. You can see it there, Department of Environment. But therefore, we had to raise approximately €120,000. It wasn't easy. We borrowed €75,000 through the Western Development Commission at 3%. So my name and 4 other directors' names are down there as guarantors for that money. That's the reality of being involved in the social enterprise as well as private industry. The remaining money we raised ourselves, which is about 20 grand, 25 grand, we raised ourselves through fundraising. And that meant in the community, it meant local donors and sponsors. We were very fortunate to have DPD, the parcel courier company in Athlone, to come behind the project, particularly because of their investment in the disability aspect of our project. Our boats specialise in disability and travel. That's what we specialise in. And that's how we put the money together. Going forward, I think this is a big issue. I think it's an issue for the Just Transition Fund at the Department of the Environment. It's a big issue for EMRA, the regional authority, in terms of the next part of the project. Where are local communities supposed to get matching funding at a decent interest rate? That is a real live question, and it must be addressed, I think, if Just Transition is going to work at the next stage. I think the local enterprise office and leader are probably your starting points. I know that our project would not have got off the ground were it not for the support given by Louise Ward, Jeremy Cullen in Roscommon Local Enterprise Office. They actually took up the project with us, and then they assigned a qualified accountant called Cathal Mahan to our project. He worked with us for nearly 4 months on the business plan, and he held our hand. And that's the reality of working in community development. You know, people are busy. We all have busy jobs, and everybody has to go back to their day job. We don't spend 10 hours a day at the social enterprise office. So this is very important. Go to your leader company. In Roscommon Leader, we were very lucky. Denise MacDonald and Linda Sice gave us brilliant support in terms of issues such as funding, governance, all that type of area. And go in with your eyes open from day one. But you know, it's worth doing. There is the greater prize for this is creation of jobs in your own community. To be able to give somebody a job who once worked in Bordnamona, working back in their hometown, to me is a great achievement now, and it's something we're very proud of. It's worth going through all the hard work to see our boat bringing people from Kerry, Donegal, Cork, all over the country out on the river. To see them going up the town and buying Peter's gin and vodka, even better. So you know, we're quite delighted with the work that it's worth it. But I take the point that, you know, the expertise is out there. Go to the enterprise office, the leader company, and then you'll get something like Rethink Ireland might give you a chance to go on the accelerator program. You get a chance to get the expertise and take as much professional advice as you can, because at the end of the day, if you're in social enterprise, you're a volunteer on a community board. I think, in the context of what you're doing today, this webinar, I think you're aiming at communities that haven't engaged that much, maybe, with Just Transition so far. And there's loads of them. I think Offaly, by the way, are about 7,000 miles ahead of everybody else. Congratulations to Offaly. They seem to have more projects in JTF than anybody. But the rest of us are quite behind. And, that's not our fault. We thought we had a power station in Pordenamona going to last another 20 years. It disappeared in 20 months. So we've got to start. So I say to community groups that haven't got involved, engage. Hold a public meeting, look for ideas, see what thought process out, see if they're, particularly next generation, people who are coming in without, shall we say, baggage. Some people are still very bitter about what happened in Pordenamona and ESB, and I appreciate that. I accept that, and I know why they're bitter, but there's no point in holding on to it forever. We've got to move on. The Just Transition Fund will be the only show in town, as far as I'm concerned, over the next 3 years. 85 million from Europe, 85 million from Ireland. That's a hell of a lot of money for just 6 counties. And it's up to us to get up of our ass and get in there and shout for our own areas if we have good ideas, if we want to create jobs in our own areas. Like, for instance, I'm watching things very carefully, and I know loads of other people are watching the money that was spent in the first round of Just Transition on feasibility studies. There was a fortune spent on them. Projects got 80,000, 100,000, 120,000, 70,000. I am watching, and I know people in my community are watching very, very carefully to see where those feasibility studies are going. We are going to be hammering the table and asking, where are they? When are they going to be actually put into place in the next section? I'm talking about one in particular, a boardwalk for our own hometown, 80, 100,000 spent on the feasibility study. And we want to see it happening now. That's what we will do. We will be hammering the table with the local authority, with EMRA and with others, and saying, if you're serious about this process, now go on and follow up on feasibility studies, get the investment and make them happen and create more jobs in Pordenamona and ESB communities. So it's up to yourselves. You can be passive, sit at the counter in your local pub and say, isn't it terrible and isn't it a waste of money and isn't it a waste of time? Or you can stand up and go in and engage with the local authorities. They're all decent people. They're well able to fight their corner. And for the most part, they're tremendous operators in terms of funding, in terms of vision and strategy for the community. So I say to people, don't stand back, get stuck in.